OPEC, the club of oil exporters, is nearly 60 years old, and it's dying from a self-inflicted wound. To understand why, we need to go all the way back to 1973 and the Arab oil embargo.
The oil-producing countries of the Arab world decided to use their oil as a political weapon.
This was OPEC's golden age, when it controlled more than half the world's oil production, and members like Iraq, Iran and Saudi Arabia were nationalizing their oil fields. With the world's thirst for oil seemingly unquenchable, OPEC demanded higher prices, and it got them. In real terms, they jumped sixfold between 1973 and 1980. But the funny thing about prices is that even for something as addictive as oil, they end up pushing people to either find more of the stuff or consume less of it. In oil's case, they did both. By the mid-80s, OPEC controlled less than 30% of a market that had slowed to a crawl.
Subject tonight on Special Segment, the oil bust.
Fast forward to 2008. Oil prices hit their highest ever, with Brent crude reaching $146 a barrel. There was no embargo this time, just rampant Chinese demand. OPEC made windfall profits. But once again, prices did their work and unleashed a new and persistent menace to OPEC: shale. In 2008, the long decline in US oil production suddenly turned around, with output surging back to levels last seen in the 1970s. Shale resources are huge. They're relatively quick to develop and have been getting cheaper. So if OPEC tries to hold oil off the market now, that just lets shale producers potentially step in to fill the gap. Instead of operating under a cartel, it is now every oil producer for themselves, especially with key OPEC members Saudi Arabia and Iran facing off, daggers drawn. OPEC's cozy cartel has turned into Fight Club.